July 17th, 1994. A stadium turned into an oven under the noon sun. The match is being played in the middle of the day for European television, and the pitch is burning. 90,000 people are holding their breath, and 11 meters from the ball, the best football player on the planet at that moment is standing still. This man has taken this shot thousands of times in his life. He could do it in his sleep, but in a moment, he will send it well over the crossbar, into nothing. The best in the world, the simplest movement, the biggest stage. And his body, at the exact second it was needed, betrays him. When you understand why, you'll see that the man standing on that spot was actually you. The World Cup final is the greatest single match humanity has ever invented. On that day, roughly 1/3 of the planet stares at the same patch of grass at the same time. Billions of eyes. One rectangle of turf. Two teams spent 120 minutes grinding each other to nothing. No goals. And now everything has come down to the cruelest moment football ever invented. The penalty shootout. 11 meters. One goalkeeper. And you. The physics are in your favor. The statistics are in your favor. From this distance, at this angle, scoring is about as close to guaranteed as the sport gets. A professional footballer converts 9 out of 10 penalties in a low-pressure training environment. Sometimes all 10. But the moment they step onto that pitch, that number collapses. And the ones who miss most often are, more often than not, the most talented ones. Same foot, same ball, same distance. The only thing that changed, the weight of the moment. To understand this, we have to leave the pitch and step inside the brain. In the 1980s, a psychologist named Roy Baumeister became fascinated by a strange question. Why do people fail at the exact moment they most want to succeed? He designed a series of experiments. He gave people simple skill tasks they had already automatized, things they did without thinking. Then he raised the stakes, added an audience, put money on the line. In other words, he created pressure. And the strange thing that happened was this. The more people wanted to win, the worse they performed. Baumeister gave this a name. But we'll get to the name in a moment. First, you need to understand why. Because the reason is something you already know from your own life. Think about a centipede. It has 100 legs and walks with effortless, perfect coordination. One day, someone asks it, "How do you move all those legs so smoothly? Which one do you lift first?" And the centipede, for the very first time, begins thinking about its legs. At that moment, it can no longer walk. It locks up entirely. That is exactly what happens at the penalty spot. When a footballer takes a penalty, he isn't actually thinking. The motion has been carved into the deepest layers of the brain over years, into automatic memory. The body knows. Consciousness stays out of it. But when the moment gets big enough, the brain's conscious control center steps in and says, "This is too important. Let me handle it." And it tries to consciously control, step by step, what has been done automatically for years. The angle of the foot, the breath, where the goalkeeper's eyes are looking, just like the centipede. The moment you bring something automatic into conscious awareness, it breaks. If you've made it this far, there's probably a moment from your own life that's already surfacing. We'll get there, I promise. This channel opens a crack like this every week. A truth about you, hidden underneath a story that looks like it's about something else. Stay with it. Let's keep going. And here is where it gets truly painful. Because who does this trap catch most? A Norwegian researcher named Geir Jordet spent years analyzing hundreds of penalties from World Cups and European Championships, one by one. And he found something striking. The biggest stars, the ones who had won Player of the Year that season, the most recognizable names in the sport, missed more often than the others in shootouts, because they had more to lose. For an ordinary player, it's a penalty kick. For a legend, it is the examination of the entire legend. Jordet also noticed this. The ones who missed tended to be the ones who rushed, the ones who avoided making eye contact with the goalkeeper, the ones who wanted to strike as quickly as possible and end the unbearable moment. What they were trying to escape wasn't the ball. It was the weight of the moment. And trying to run from that weight was precisely what brought them down. The name Baumeister gave to what he'd found in those experiments was this: choking under pressure. And now the whole video falls into place. The man who missed that penalty wasn't untalented. He wasn't a coward. He wasn't unprepared. It was the exact opposite. He cared too much. He was too aware. His brain sabotaged him while trying to help him. Choking is not the absence of ability. It is ability being suffocated by consciousness at the very moment it is needed most. This is not the disease of the weak. It is the disease of those who care. Someone who doesn't care never chokes. Because in order to choke, the moment first has to mean something to you. The more you want it, the more you think. The more you think, the more the automatic breaks down. Wanting it is what sabotages you. Now set that pitch aside. Because you have stood on that penalty spot too. It just wasn't called a penalty. That exam you studied for weeks, you knew the material. Over breakfast that morning, explaining it to someone, you had it cold. But the moment the paper landed in front of you, and you thought, this is it, your mind went completely blank. Or the presentation. The moment everyone in the room turned to look at you. At home, in front of the mirror, it had flowed perfectly. But when the light swung your way, the words, on the topic you knew better than anyone, dissolved in your mouth. Or the sentence you needed to say. I love you. Or I'm done. Or simply, no. You rehearsed it in your head 1,000 times. But when the moment came, that simple sentence knotted itself in your throat. Do you see it? It was easy. All of it was easy. You had the ability. You had the knowledge. You had the words. But you cared too much. And because you cared too much, you thought too much. And because you thought too much, you couldn't do the very thing you knew best. The moment Baggio sent that ball into the stands, and the moment you froze, same brain, same trap. The only difference, 90,000 people watched his. Only you remember yours, the best in the world, the simplest movement, the biggest stage. And the body, at the exact second it was needed, betrays its owner. The man standing on that spot wasn't untalented. He just cared too much.